Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crafting a Business podcast. We are here for season 3, and I'm really excited to welcome my guest today, Tushar. So welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. So I was just reflecting on how we met originally, and we met at a chamber event a couple of weeks ago. I was delivering a presentation on all things, nerdy, like marketing, AI, all of the above. And Tushar asked me a cybersecurity question, which, if I'm honest, cybersecurity does scare me a little bit, right? Because you can do all the right things and still sometimes it just doesn't go your way, right? So I really wanted to understand your background and your story and how your business started. So why don't you take me back to the beginning and tell me what were you doing before AssessEasy and what is the career path that led you into cybersecurity?
Right. So I started my career as a cybersecurity engineer in 2010, starting from Commonwealth Games that happened in New Delhi. In India. And because of the international scale of that event, there were a lot of security agencies involved from different countries all over the world. And they all were discussing how to be secure. There were a lot of athletes, sports, personalities. So there was a lot of cutting edge technologies that were deployed at that time. And my manager told me that, would you be interested something in working with a new technology that's called IPS? I said, what's IPS? I only heard about firewalls and nothing more. So he said that, it's the next level of the, security architecture, and it actually secures more than firewall. So what IPS is it's an intrusion prevention system.
Okay.
It basically works on, in a layman term, it's like a next level to the firewall. So firewall does 0 and 1. It can do between 0 and 1 everything. So 0.1, 0.2. So it's more sophisticated. So that kind of fascinated me that, I spent a lot of hours, even after my shift gets over. I spent a lot of hours exploring the IPS, reading their signatures, building and crafting different kind of rules. So that was the first thing. That was the first event when I fell in love with cybersecurity. And that was the start of my cybersecurity journey. To be honest,
okay.
yeah.
And I imagine also back in 2010, we're dealing with different issues than what we're dealing with today.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
How have you found the technology and the way that you're working has changed?
Well, I think the attack surface has definitely increased. And if you're a small business owner or you think that I'm just invisible in the market, think again, because bad guys are not targeting the big firms. So they are not, going for the big, large giants or corporations. They just scan, because this market is, it's a dark money, and a lot of people are getting in, a lot of small cybercriminals, and they just need anything. They just scan the entire network, and whoever comes first and whoever is the easiest target, whether small or big, they just go for it. And they just steal your money and reputation. And that's just scary. And
I think that's really scary. From a marketing point of view, you put so much effort into growing the business and growing your portfolio and growing your persona and brand.
Yeah.
And then to have something and to not protect it enough so that, someone just can come along and take it, it's really scary.
Yeah.
What can people do to protect themselves? The basics, what basic things can they do to protect themselves?
Well, there are a lot of basic things. I'll take a step back on this, because since 2010 till 2024, I worked globally for large companies, US-based, all the ASX listed companies in Australia as well, in Adelaide and in Sydney. I had a lot of major incidents that happened in these large organizations. They have a deep pocket, they have like dedicated teams and everything. And I was heading those teams a lot of times. In my experience is that there are very little things that matter. Covering your multi-factor authentication. It's simple thing, doing your daily backups. It's that simple. And the good news is that Australian government provides that for free. You go to their website, you do your assessment, you can just put in the general information that and go from there. So it's pretty easy to.
Is this the Essential 8?
Essential 8, yes.
Okay. See, I don't know nearly enough about this. So for someone, pretend I'm new, which you don't have to pretend much when in this space. What do I need to know about the Essential 8?
Well, Essential 8 is the baseline that is, important, or you can say that it's the security baseline for every business, whether you're small, medium, or large. That is the first starting point that you should be looking at immediately. Yeah. Don't wait for thinking that, when I will have a lot of customers and a lot of profit, and then I'll start investing in cybersecurity. Because those bad guys, they're not waiting for your profits and your revenue. they'll just stop your cash flow and destroy your reputation. And with the advent of I think it's getting much more easier for them.
And that was going to be my next question. Like, you kind of sit in the middle of the kind of intersection between cybersecurity and AI.
Yeah.
So, and it's a pretty specific niche, I think.
Yeah.
And it's a growing niche, obviously, with this, how AI is going so quickly.
Yeah.
When did you realize that was when you wanted to focus your energy?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when I ended my corporate career in December 2024, at that time, a lot of leaders, industry leaders across the world, they were talking about, how AI can scale up your business, how it can speed up, and it's a new technology, fascinating, everything. And a lot of people start jumping in and, rushing in to put in AI to, increase their revenue and cut down costs. But what I saw as a cybersecurity professional, that one thing which is very common in our field is attack surface, right? So with the advent of AI, now it's a new technology, right? You will be implementing new tools, new integrations. So it's another attack surface, which no one is looking for, right? You protect your email via Microsoft 365 or something, right?
Yeah.
You use your phishing resistant MFA and everything. But with the AI, it's a completely new thing. And all these AI companies, they are not built for security. They're built for scale, right? Performance. So they don't care much about security. I mean, if you read the fine print of the privacy policies of Anthropic or ChatGPT, OpenAI, it's pretty scary, where your data goes to third parties, and specifically for the Australian SMBs. If you're using Anthropic or something like that, in the fine print privacy policy, it says that your data goes to third party. Which third party? Overseas. If that goes overseas, you have no control.
So, but my understanding was, because I'm a very avid user of Claude and ChatGPT, my understanding was that if you don't feed the model, it doesn't go anywhere. Is that wrong?
No, that's correct.
That's correct. Okay. So then if you're on a free version of Claude and you import, I don't know, business data, specific business data, is that where there's a risk?
Yes, definitely. Yes, there is a risk. And it's not just the free model, it's the paid model as well. Obviously, you can control up to some extent the privacy policy. You can toggle off the training and things like that. But the most important thing is the awareness of your own data. You should know what data is important for you and for your clients, right? So that comes back to the Australian privacy principles, right? I mean, you, as a business owner, you should know that your data is PII or PHI. That's the personal identifiable information, or the health information, or the sensitive financial information. So you should, build a boundary that, this is the boundary. I'm not going to cross that, and I'm not going to feed the AI model. Just put ABC, XYZ or something like that, right?
Okay.
Don't copy paste the entire thing, right?
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
First of all, tell me about AssessEasy and what AssessEasy does.
Yeah.
And then tell me about how you kind of merged all of your experience to build this.
Yeah. So AssessEasy is a platform that I built with a vision that, I want to provide essential aid, especially, and the basic security stuff to all the small and medium business owners, because large cybersecurity companies don't care about the small businesses. And the other aspect is that it's not affordable. The cybersecurity stuff, it's not affordable for a lot of businesses. So I want to cut down that cost and help those small and medium businesses to stay safe and compliant. So that was the vision when I started. And how do I keep the cost low? I use AI, and those AIs are all in-house. I don't store any data unless, my client says that, can you give me some introspection on my data? So while I'm doing that, that is the duration of that data is stored. Otherwise, I'll just, discard it.
Okay.
So I don't store anything. Yeah.
Okay. And who is I think you kind of mentioned your core customer being small business owners.
Yeah.
Do they have to have an aptitude of cybersecurity, or can they be completely new? Like, do they, like me, I don't know anything about Essential Aid, I probably should, but,
Yeah.
Who was your kind of ideal core customer?
Well, my ideal customer is who knows nothing about cybersecurity and is worried about data privacy. So that is my ideal customer.
And just to add to that, everyone should be worried about data, about privacy.
Yes.
Everyone, because the risk is so high. As you said, small business owners think that, oh no, I'm too little, they won't touch me, but they will. And they will, they will take everything that you have built. Yeah. So how does AssessEasy actually work?
So it's an AI-based platform. You can just sign up and you can go in there. It's like a radio button checklist kind of thing. You just put in your response and hit submit, and it will provide you a human-reviewed AI-generated report. So it will give you a risk score or a health check on the go. So you don't have to spend. There's no obligation to that. And Like unlike other big providers or small providers, my services are not like all or nothing. So if you just want to focus on the essential aid, take it. That's it. It's no obligation. And if you really are serious about your client's data, and if you fall into different categories of business, like if you are 3 million plus in revenue, then you're liable for certain legal regulations in Australia. So you are prone to getting sued. And, if some client's data is lost, they can actually come and sue you if you're 3 million plus. So different clienteles, different businesses, but that doesn't mean that it's too tough, it's too scary. I think that the another thing that I want to focus is that you should be focused on awareness. Don't get scared. I mean, that's the tool that they use, the bad guys. So you just be aware, don't be afraid to ask questions, search, and there are a lot of government resources that you can use my website. I have free dark web monitoring services as well. So you can put in your domain, my AI will search it. And once it searches, provides you data, it removes everything. So it doesn't store anything.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to understand, your journey kind of to get here. So like building a tech platform, as a solo founder with a small team is really hard. I know that from experience.
Yeah.
But what is the biggest challenge that you've had so far getting AssessEasy off the ground?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was convincing people. I mean, the normal small and medium businesses that, this is really important, and it's not for me. I mean, it's for you and your clients. I can tell you what's important, what's not. And that was the biggest challenge. But I was thinking of making it so easy. That's why I call it AssessEasy. I wanted to make it so easy that when you come to my website, it's like a breeze. So yeah, I mean, there were a lot of, hiccups with developments, coding and stuff. But yeah, overall, it was a good journey.
And I think that the education play, I think, is really important here because like cybersecurity can be something that you just put on your never-ending to-do list.
Yeah.
And then you kind of don't realize it until something's gone wrong. Right? So how do you cut through that? Are you doing education? Are you teaching people about essential aid? Like, tell me about that.
Yeah. So I do a lot of networking sessions and and I'm also thinking of doing podcasts like this to, for the awareness like you're doing. And I do a lot of LinkedIn posts and I do a lot of searching and reading over the articles, what is happening globally and how it can impact Australia in next 6 months. So more of a tactical target that I build. So when I have that information, I can, provide the business owners that, this is coming through in Australia. So brace yourself, or, these are the 2-minute reads or, 1-minute thing that you can, read it, implement it. It's just 1, 2, 3, done.
And I think that education play is really important, right? You could start doing webinars, you could start to get questions on that make people think, have I got my multi-factor authentication on? Have I got different aspects? Where are my loopholes? Right. I think that could be a really important play because I don't know what I don't know. Right. And if I could bring it back to that education, like as a small business owner, if you could give them any advice, like what are the top 3 things that you will tell them to check now?
Yeah. So top 3 things is number 1 is the multi-factor authentication. So there is a little nuance to that as well. So use the phishing resistant multi-factor authentication.
What does that mean?
So when you get your authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, and you press yes or approve, you enter the number and it just goes through. Now the phishing resistant MFA is like a small chip that gets into your laptop, like a USB stick. It's called UB keys. When you enter that and you put your fingerprint on that. So what it does is, even if you have clicked the wrong URL, it will also check whether you have accidentally clicked or not. So it works in the same way. It's very easy to use and it costs like $70 or something. Okay. It's too easy.
Yeah. So because I also know, like, because 2FA, is it second factor? Is that right? Yep.
Yes,
okay.
That's correct.
Thanks. See, I'm learning. But that's SMS, right? Is SMS 2FA or?
Yes, SMS is one form of 2FA.
One form, okay. Yeah. But that can be easily spoofed, right? Like anyone can kind of pretend to send you a text message or...
Well, yes and no. If you're aware, then no.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes, people can spoof it. They can trick you in getting into, bad website, malicious pages, steal your information. I have certain horror stories. I mean, not horror stories.
Tell me. Like I want to know the horror story.
Yeah, so there's a good news. Yeah, there's a good news and a bad news. So I'll start off with the good news first. April 13th this year, Australian Federal Police with multiple countries, like 6 or 7 other countries, they launched an operation The operation was Operation Power Off. So that was against the DDoS for hire sites that cybercriminals used. And there were over 50 plus domains that were used. And, people can subscribe to it and, get the website down or, destroy your reputation. The bad news is it has 3 million customers on that website. And you know who were those customers?
Small businesses.
Yes. So,
That's painful.
if you come to me, the first thing I'll tell you to be lay low, only share what you need to share, right? And always be aware because you don't know that, you're a bad business owner or something. I don't want to sound critical, but maybe it's 3 blocks away. It's not the bad guys who's sitting overseas. And they only charge $50 to $100 as for subscription. So anyone has that dollars, they can just pay those bad guys and decide it's down.
Wow.
So
MFA is important.
Yeah.
That's number one, right?
Yeah.
So what are the other 2 things that
Number 2 is daily backup.
Daily backup.
Yes.
This is so hard, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this morning. I had an issue this morning on a Google Drive, and my team member said, "Hey, what's wrong with the link?" And I'm like, I freaked out for a second. I'm like, "Is all the footage gone?" But I don't do daily backup. I keep it all in the cloud.
If you can't do the daily backups, at least do for your critical data. For your general data, it can wait for a week or maybe fortnight or a month. It depends on what you store and how much capacity you have. But for the critical, especially for your crown jewels, client data and stuff, do daily backups and keep it offline copy as well.
Like a hard drive or like a server or something?
Yeah. For a small business owners, hard drive is fine.
Hard drive, okay.
Yeah.
And how do you do a daily backup that's like, is it like a schedule? Can you set up some sort of tool that does it?
Yeah, there are a lot of tools. There are a lot of, cheap tools that you can use. And they'll, run the task schedulers and send it to you your email that, backups is done. And if something fails, they'll also tell you that, backup failed. So you can look into it, go back and fix it.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Scary. But number 3, what's your number 3?
Number 3 is access control. Okay. So you should know that what access your data is going through. Who has access to your data? So that's the number 3 thing that I would really emphasize on.
So by access, you mean like, say, for example, you're collaborating with somebody. Say on my website, I needed a developer. I hired someone. They had access to my website. And then they finish the job and then off they go, Sometimes we forget that they still have access. So a year later, they're not working on my website anymore, but they still have access.
Yeah.
Is that the example that you're thinking about with access?
Right. So for access, obviously that's one case, but I think the principle is the least access privilege principle. So whoever you're giving access to, it should be exactly aligned to what his role is.
Okay.
Not beyond that. Okay. You shouldn't be giving admin access. You shouldn't be giving, global admin or something. And the second thing is that you can use something called just-in-time access if you're on the Microsoft stack. So just-in-time access is that if you have if we work together and you give me access on something for 1 month. So you can put just-in-time access that after this date, end of contract, access is revoked automatically. So you don't need to remember that.
Okay, I understand. See? Okay. So that's some 3 really important things that small business owners can action now. That's totally achievable.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why I say.
Yes. So tell me about the future. What is your vision for AssessEasy in the next 2 to 3 years? What do you hope to achieve? Tell me about that.
Well, in next 2-3 years, I'm not sure if that is achievable or not, but I want to be a bit delusional on that. I want to make cybersecurity so easy that it's just like a small talk at a coffee catch up. So it should be so easy, so understandable that people are not scared of cybersecurity. It's expensive, it's scary, it's not affordable. So I want to remove all those words from. Yeah.
That is a great goal.
Yeah.
The more education that you do, the more, it sounds really bad, but the telling of the scary stories, but telling it in a way that people understand and they take action from it, I think that's key.
Yeah. I think the moral of this, or you can say the spirit of this conversation of telling horror stories is that it's damn easy to fix it. Yeah. You don't have to spend fortune. You don't have to break a bank. It's very easy. So just go for it. Just go for Essential 8. Do it yourself and, contact your IT team. They'll do it for you and they'll be happy to do it because they know what's happening behind the curtains. So, and if you don't have time, the second way is you can get in touch with me or my website and we can go from there.
Yeah. So how do people contact you?
So there's a contact form on my website, or the best way is that you go on my website, go to the assessment, sign up, do the essential aid, submit it, and it will actually trigger the report to me, so I can get in touch directly.
We'll make sure that your details are in the show notes, so if anyone has any
Thank you.
questions,
Yeah.
they can reach back out to you. But thank you, Tushar. This was a lovely conversation.
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
that I learned a lot, and it just hones in on, as business owners, you have to learn different skills that is outside of your expertise, right?
Right.
So being open to all of this, I think, is really, really important. So, and I still think you should do like a webinar for sure. Every month or something, pick a different topic. I think that would be really, really key. So,
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
yeah,
Yes.
amazing. Well, thanks for coming on the show. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Cheers. Bye.
Amazing. That was great.